let's begin with simple things, right? Can you all introduce yourselves and maybe just talk a bit about the vision GSMA put forward and how aligned are you with that vision? Because that's very, very important. So let's start with you, Elvy.
Hi, everyone, again. My name is Elvy. I'm on the partner engineering side of Google. I work with global carriers, global OEMs. There's a lot to unpack. And in terms of the vision, I think in our Google keynote section, we have spent a lot of time emphasizing on the criticality of entitlement in terms of scaling features out to global users. So we really look forward to collaborate deeper with GSMA, with global operators to bring more and more premium features to life and to actually have the user feel like they are having the right connectivity experience.
Emir,
yeah.
Now, before you answer, I must confess, the vision I presented, a lot of it was inspired by Emir's vision, so I want to give credit where it's due. Please, Emir.
Thanks, Shamit. Emir Aboulhosn, CEO and co-founder for NetLync. I have been in this industry for a while. I actually started off as an MVNO, and I progressed into a technology company, and I've actually worked for very large players in the industry as well, too, at one time or another. And we started NetLync in 2021. The idea there was we saw an opportunity with entitlements. We knew very quickly how critical it's going to be in the industry overall, whether you're on iOS or you're on Android. And we built something completely from scratch to solve a very long-term problem. With regards to the vision, one of the things that we have found working with the GSMA services group that has been really remarkable is, besides the great level of collaboration, we share a very similar ethos together, and that is basically democratizing these types of technologies and making them available to everyone. Our smallest customer is 500 subscribers. Our biggest ones is in the tens of millions, and we're growing at a very rapid rate. And I got to, also, but to the GSMA group, for you guys, it's been a great partnership.
Thank you, Emir. Benoit?
Yes. Hi, everyone. So my name is Benoit de Longeaux. I'm product director and in charge of the telecom strategic partnerships of OnOff Telecom. OnOff Telecom, we are a small French operator. We are quite known in France. We come from the cloud. We have built a cloud-based phone number services. And we are moving into the eSIM and the mobile connectivity space. And this is how we met all this great team. Our mission and vision at OnOff is to reinvent and improve the user experience in the mobile telephony world. And when the GSMA presented his vision to bring a seamless and transparent connectivity solution, it was clearly in line with our vision as well. So this is where everything started a year ago, actually.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that. Now, my question is to you, Elvy, next up. In your presentation, you spoke a lot about the fact that the coverage gap is largely solved, and I agree with you. In fact, earlier today, we were speaking to SpaceX, and they have something to do with the satellites coming in and operators rolling out networks at scale. I kind of agree with you. But you also mentioned at the same time that the experience, right, that's not there yet, right? There is an experience gap which we need to address as an industry. So can you elaborate a bit more upon what you mean by that? What do you see in the market today, and how Android Network Ready program, which you announced earlier this week, how is that going to help bridge that gap?
Yes, of course. So I think, to the credit of all the global operators in the last decade or so, I would say operators around the world have spent billions of dollars just to lay the most reliable, fastest network everywhere. And that include terrestrial and non-terrestrial, as you mentioned. Yeah. So the experience gap we're talking about here is, or what we have observed is, what your network is actually capable of versus what the user is actually experiencing in small moments in their daily life. So just to give you a little bit more concrete example, it could be, in your example, like I purchased a really fancy flagship device, but I have to scan a QR code. I have to wait on hold with the call center to get the device activated. Or it could be the gap that I receive a very pixelated photo or a video from my friends or family. And all those little moments are the moments that actually create churns for the user. So the network is amazing, it's high quality, and that's what draws the user to you. But it's these little churning moments that make the user hesitate. So that's why we really want to introduce the Android Network Ready program, because we want to solve this experience gap. We want to bring those features as streamlined as possible to users. By offering this program to the global operators, we really hope we can join force together, because Google can never do this alone. So we need your support, we need your help, and we want to go on the path together to get this feature to the user's hands.
Okay, wonderful. Now, I did say this in my presentation as well, that historically it's taken operators 6 to 18 months to roll out new features, right? And the deployment cycles could even be longer, depending on whom you're working with, what your internal processes are, and there's a long list of things to consider. But I really liked what you mentioned about the white glove accelerator track in your presentation, and there's also a hint of it in your press release, which makes me ask, if I'm an operator, what does it look like, right?
Yeah.
What do I have to do, and how can I go on this fast track? Because and the team at GSMA has been speaking a lot with the operator community, even with the manufacturer community.
Yeah.
This is a common question they all ask. How can I get this done tomorrow? Can I get this done next month?
Yeah.
And we are like, depends which manufacturer it is. So tell us more about this, because this is what everyone wants to hear.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Shamit, that historically, turning up a new connectivity feature can easily take like up to 18 months or maybe even longer sometimes. And a lot of the reason behind this lengthy implementation, like capital-intensive, labor-intensive kind of engineering project, is because you have to do so many bespoke integrations with so many different platforms, or so many, like device by device, model by model. So we think there is a way to solve it, which is through standardization. Android Network Ready, there are two components that we think can really shorten this time to market. One is, of course, by leveraging the standardization, leveraging a very unified experience or user journey, and which is fully defined in the TS43 spec already, that we can unify. So you only need to deploy something once, and then you can just connect billions of users globally. And then the second piece, of course, will be this white glove acceleration track that we've been talking about. During this pilot phase, we're not just leaving you alone with this extremely complex, no offense, but like Florian, it is, the spec is there, but it's definitely complex. It's not that easy to navigate yet, but like the fact that it is there is the really foundational piece, and we want to help you. The main thing is the users are ready because they know they want a feature, and the platform on the OS level, we try to be ready as much as possible. And like when you put the two pieces together, one is with the standardization and with Google's dedicated resource to support you, we really hope we can compress this integration period to like maybe 2 to 5 months. Yeah. Hope that
I mean, my pipe dream is that you just have the over-the-air configuration just done on the fly within a few seconds. But having spoken to so many operators, I know 2 to 5 months is really good compared to what is there out there today. So thank you for that, Elvy. Let's move on to you, Emir. You've been speaking to a lot of operators in the last 3 years of NetLync's operations, and really trying to get in the thick of action, and trying also to go deeper into what pain points they have, what problems they have. And I certainly see that there is a lot going around in the device enablement and customer experience. Everyone wants to get it right, but the typical cycles, as we say, is very long, and they are now more and more operators are realizing that entitlements is probably the answer to it. So what do you have to say about this?
Well, I mean, the typical pain points, yeah, I've spoken to hundreds of operators. Yeah. The typical pain point, well, let me back up. Entitlements has been around for over a decade in one form or another, and it's evolved along the way. And how it's delivered has also changed as well. Right. But the pain points actually stayed quite consistent. Those came down to, a lot of them were commercial models, were a little bit complex. The second one was, okay, the deployment and the integration timelines and the integration effort. The third part was the maintenance and the kind of what we call the upgrade. Upgrade really means adding new use cases as well too. And you put all three of those combined, you'll see a lot of operators really were, I would say, dragging their heels about embracing entitlements. But once you have it and it works, it's kind of magic, right? In the sense that the device works out of the box instantly. But so this is a primary pain point. Entitlements as a service does solve that because it was designed to simply scale. We knew and we saw, talking to our friends in the OEMs, that entitlements was going to be something that not only are they going to embrace, but it makes things easier for them. It opens up their roadmap. And at the same time, it's less complexity for the operator to deal with, to try to figure out, well, how do I get this to work? This idea of bespoke integrations and everything puts you into almost like an architectural corner that you've got to dig out of later. So there are solutions out there that actually solve that and streamline that going forward. But the bigger part is that what people need to understand, the solutions are there. And I want to just say, one thing you understand is, as much as operators here in the room, as much as you care about your customers, I can tell you the OEMs care about those customers just as much as you do. And in fact, their customers are your customers. So they're trying to solve that experience and take it to the next level. But it allows you to go back and focus on really critical elements of your business as well too, which is the network, the customer service, and obviously pricing and marketing, whatever you need to do besides that. So things are flowing in place. You just need to kind of, I think, get with the program, as I like to say.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's quite comprehensive. Now, we've heard a lot about eSIM of late, right? Last 2 years, where there are eSIM-only devices being on offering. And there are certain countries now which are moving to eSIM-only, and certain regions as well. And I think that's not going to stop as and when people realize the relevance of eSIM and what you can do with it. From your experience, how do you see this moving ahead? Because I get most of the entitlements requests we are getting, it starts with eSIM transfer. That seems to be the #1 use case, followed by RCS, Elvy. But we do get a lot of questions on how do I get the eSIM transfer flow. So how do you see we enable seamless eSIM activation, transfer, cross-device experiences? So how do you see that happening?
Well, I mean, yeah, the trend of eSIM-only devices is here. There's nothing going to change that. We're seeing it from all the major manufacturers one way or another. And if you ask me, I would predict probably within about 3 to 5 years, the vast majority of devices will be eSIM only on that level. And part of it is, the manufacturers trying to fight for that, device real estate to bring it back so they can put more functionality inside of it. There's various reasons. But the one thing that it does do is it does make the customer experience so much better as well. And we're also, as all human beings, we're all creatures of instant gratification. So when we get that shiny new phone, we want to put it side by side and just watch that simply move over seamlessly. Sure, they had settings and files and photos would move over pretty easily. In fact, they could even do it cross OS. But now, okay, wait a minute. Now I got to go either transfer my SIM or move it out, or I got to call customer service. That goes away. It just works out of the box. And that's kind of the magic that sits in it as well too. And this is where you're going to see more and more features coming online. That's just simply going to improve that customer experience as well too. And this is critical, along with the upgrades in the hardware that we're seeing as well too.
Okay, Thank you for that, Emir. Let's come to you, Benoit. I must say, and now I'm saying it publicly, I'm a big fan of your team. When we launched Entitlements, Emir said me 4 weeks average. I wasn't sure, so I told my team, say 7 to 8 weeks. Don't say 4 weeks. We don't know where it's going. And his team, Benoit's team, did it in 2 weeks. So you can do 4 weeks if you have your team, but if you get Benoit's team, you can get it done in 2 weeks. Yeah? So you'll struggle to keep those guys and girls in your team, right? I've told everybody now. Now, my question to you, Benoit, is you're the first company, actually, to go live through GSMA entitlements. What really motivated to, firstly be an early adopter on NSX and then also, go for entitlements?
Well, that was a strategic choice, actually. When we decided to become an MVNO and to enter into this magic world of the operators, we said we want to be eSIM only first, and we want to offer a very simple and digital onboarding. And that was the vision, and this is what we wanted to promise to our customers. But I was coming from the MVNO world, and I have former colleagues in the room. And I remember that maybe some of you remember that 10 years ago, we had to put manually the APN into a device. At the time, you had to put the SIM card, and then you put the APN, and it was just a headache. So I said, OK, we want to do digital onboarding, but it has to be fully seamless and transparent. And this is going to be really hard with all the history I have with the APNs. So we came to speak with the big OEMs. We came to speak with Google, of course. And they said, oh, you could do it with us, but actually the good solution is to speak with GSMA. I said, OK, GSMA, interesting, let's talk. And we discovered NSX. And that was really great because we understood that with one platform, we could have access to 800 different devices. So that was really a good start. But then we realized that there was other features that were putting more challenges, like RCS. So we said, OK, how can we do it? And this is how we discovered, actually, this entitlement server platform as well. And it was making perfect sense to have both at the same place. And this is why the story started, actually. So
wonderful,
yeah.
Wonderful.
As
I said, we love working with your team. But how was your onboarding experience, working together with GSMA and NetLync engineering team, right? So how was that experience for you and your team?
I must say before that Emir did not pay me for everything I'm going to say. But
for the record, I didn't pay you as well.
Indeed. No, but when you build a mobile service, you need to integrate with many players, okay? You know that from billing, provisioning, from OSS, BSS, all the platforms that you know. And the experience we had with the NetLync platform provided by GSMA was super great. And the feedback were really positive from our team. First of all, because it was just an API. It was not a complex standard as we can see in the telecom industry. You know, the telecom industry, we are big fans of having many different protocols. And here it was just a simple API that IT guys are used to have on a daily basis. So that was really, I would say, easy for us to integrate. And the platform itself was really well documented. Even myself, I'm not really technical. I could simply understand what had to be done and plan the work of the team. So, yeah, generally speaking, I think you said it. I said it. It was a very good experience. So, thank you for that.
Wonderful. It's good to hear that. Emir?
I'll get you a drink later.
Yeah. So, Emir, coming to you. And Elvy, now we're going to talk RCS, okay? So, Emir, you have spent a lot of time, obviously, speaking to customers and operators about RCS. And I was pleasantly surprised with the kind of collaboration that's happening between Google and iOS with the Apple team. And I think cross-platform RCS or cross-operating system RCS is really critical. So how do you see it shaping up from your perspective?
You know what? I've got to give the OEMs a lot of credit in this one. in terms of just changing the mindset overall. What the realization is that working together, they lift up the entire ecosystem together, and it's not so much of a competitive advantage. It is, at the end of the day, just creating great experiences across the board, and everybody can do what they need to do to sell their devices. But the reality is that there's no reason why these things can't work together seamlessly. And the other thing too is that when I take a look, it's no secret, I'm a huge fan of RCS. I've been advocating for it quite a bit. PNV is another one that we've been very involved with as well too. And so I'm always constantly, singing their praises. But there is a thing about, okay, the multitude of messaging apps that are kind of sitting out there, and finally you've got what your native device is doing, and it's communicating with the other person's native messaging app as well too, seamlessly, and giving you those features as well. And it's just, again, enhancing the experience for everybody. And it's a testament to show that they actually really do care about the customer experience at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter what network you are, where you are in the world, you are their customer, and they want to make sure that that experience is shared across the board. And that's something that we're really enjoying seeing. And again, if you decide to switch back and forth, they're also making it seamless, which is also, to me, was a bit of a shock when I first was introduced to it and said, hey, here's what we're going to do. So I think this trend is going to continue going forward, and it's helping all of it's lifting the entire industry. And from a carrier perspective, it's also allowing you to focus on the core fundamentals of your business while they're delivering that excellent device experience to the table.
Excellent. As we were discussing backstage, technologies like NFC and RCS just sat on the shelf before their moment came. With NFC, it was post-COVID. And with RCS, it's the moment is now with this collaboration happening. So thank you for that. Let me come back to you, Benoit. Actually, this is something we discuss a lot within our team at GSMA, that we need to be the voice of the small operators, small manufacturers, and we need to help them more than anyone else. So we've kind of made it our mission to do so. And as an MVNO who has used some of our services, especially the interoperability services, what benefits did it bring to you from your perspective?
Well, there are lots of benefits. Definitely. I would say that the end benefits are for customers and users, definitely, because we are an MVNO, and for us, we don't have the same level of voice as an MNO, for sure. We don't have the same history, we don't have the same context, and we are used to actually the differences between the different OEMs, because we come also from the mobile application world, and we know the difference between the different OSs. I mean, instead of having to manage one-to-one integrations with iOS and Android, actually we could have a single point of contact, which was the GSMA, and a single API and single platform. So in terms of operational benefits, in terms of time to market, in terms of cost of integrations, this really changed actually our project. And as I said, at the end, it's our customers who will benefit from a better user experience, because what we want to bring is a seamless experience, something that you just tap on a button to install your eSIM, and it works magically. And this is all what we want, and this is what we did, actually. So yeah, very happy about that.
Okay, wonderful. Then just adding to it, in terms of the entitlement service, right? I think we discussed about how the alignment in the industry is improving across the ecosystem. So how do you see that? Can you elaborate on that thought?
Aha. Of course, we are supporting all the initiatives to make sure everybody is aligned on the same protocol. What has been described before is really interesting for us, and I'm sure I will enter those groups. when you need to be compliant with all the different type of protocols, the requirements from the different platforms, it's hard to manage, both operationally and at the product level. So if we work together, obviously, to be aligned on the same protocol, on the same standard, and to have a full interoperability between the device, the operators, and of course the services around it, that could be super great, of course. So happy to align on that.
Thank you for that. Now, this is the last question, and it's for you, Elvy. I'll paint a picture for you, okay? It's been 3-4 years down the line. Everything is working seamlessly. We've achieved the vision, and entitlement-driven activation is just by default activating every feature across markets. Now, I could be struggling on the timelines, but let's just assume that happened. What needs to happen between now and at that point between platform providers, operators, the broader ecosystem in order to achieve that?
Well, I would love to see that day come true, and ideally in 3 to 5 years, as you mentioned. I think the main thing is, well, the most fundamental part is we know user wants this, and we have a lot of research, a lot of data from the user that they have been wanting all those features, which is amazing feature we've been discussing. So that's the fundamental understanding I think everybody is aligned on. And then building on top of the user needs and what the user actually deserve. From an operator perspective, I think please join our Android Network Ready program. We will want to join this journey with you to get there. From an OEM perspective, we have came a long way by unifying the solution on the OS level as much as possible. So we will continue this journey together with other OEMs. And of course, we really hope a lot of the features, like Emir, you were mentioning, like for RCS type of features, there shouldn't be any restriction in terms of if you're using an iPhone or if you're using an Android, like depending on which device you're on, like who I can chat with. eSIM transfer will be another example. I shouldn't need to worry about can I only transfer this service account to the next Android or the next iOS. All these features will come in a similar shape, and that we really hope all the mobile operators can work with us to make this available to the users, and we will continue work with the OEM ecosystem to get this ready, get it as seamless as possible for all global users.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that brings an end to the panel session. So I thank all of you for some great insights into what your respective organizations are doing and how you see strategically the industry moving forward. And I also thank all the speakers for sharing a lot of insights with us all today.